Catfish Johnny's Restaurant, serving the Lake Pennsauken and surrounding areas since 1990. For the last 33 years, we have strived to serve great food at great prices and a friendly, casual atmosphere. If seafood isn't your thing, our burgers or wings are the best around. We have daily specials too. Check us out on Facebook or Instagram for more information. All right, welcome back to another edition of the Goblay Show. I'm your host, Billy Goble, and today we have a special guest. He is a former Major League catcher, and he has coached our very own around here, Jacinto Arredondo. And so without further ado, I don't want to delay him anymore. I want to welcome Mr. Mackey Sasser to the show. Mackey, welcome to the show, buddy.
Thank you very much for having me. You've been trying to get me on here for a while, and we finally got it lined up, so we got everything going good now. I used to say, let's say, well, where's Sabo at today? Or he's on the table in there a lot. He can't play today. He's in there in the training room. I always said they called in sick today, did it because Combs on the mound, because he'd make them look like stupid idiots.
Yeah,
and he was just young, and he pitched good enough to win, but he pitched dumb enough to lose. And as he got with the Yankees, he became smarter, and that's when he throws his no-hitters and started doing everything he had to do. But he was the funnest to catch. It was hilarious. Them guys would just beat themselves up when he got done with them. I mean, it was great. He'd hurt you, too, because he'd throw 55-footers and just beat you to death. But it was so fun to catch him. And
so let me ask you this. I've heard Bob Euchre's answer to this, but how do you catch a knuckleball?
Gotta let it come to you. I know that you can't stab it. He
said you just let it stop rolling. Just
That's true too.
Pick it up when it's done. You can't really catch it.
We had Jeff Ennis, God rest his soul, he passed away, but he learned how to throw a knuckleball. You just gotta let it come to you. You can't go out there and stab it. Tim Wakefield was with the Pirates for all those years.
Man,
he didn't quite throw hard enough to do everything, and look what he did. He wound up pitching for 20 years.
Yep.
And
there's a video. There's a video of him throwing a knuckleball from the Pirates. It never rotated. It's one of the coolest things I have ever seen in my life. Just like it was like a pitcher. You put it in your hand and you just go like this, and ball never rotated, nothing. It just I was like, man, you got to be kidding me. The precise movement, the control.
They perfected it. Phil Necro in spring training, I got my first spring training hit with the Giants off of him throwing that knuckleball.
Okay.
And, Jeff Ennis, like I said, he threw a knuckleball. They taught him a knuckleball. And I went with him for 2 weeks down to work with Joe Necro down at spring training for the Houston spring training down in Kissimmee. For 2 weeks, that's all we did was work every day for 1 hour. We worked on him throwing a knuckleball. Oh, he caught me a couple times, kind of the head and everything. So I learned, just let it come to you. Don't try to move with it. Just let it come to you and then boom, catch it.
Yep. When you were in Pittsburgh, did you ever get to meet Dave Parker, or have you ever met Dave Parker?
No.
You know who I'm talking about, right? Dave Parker.
Yeah,
well, I was going to say, a lot of people don't. You'd be surprised. People are like, "Who?" I'm like, "Oh my gosh!" Well, he just got nominated to be in the Hall of Fame. He made it to Cooperstown, which is I love that guy.
He should have been before.
Absolutely. But there's a story of him going about spring training, how he there's two stories about him I want to say. He used to wear the Star of David on his necklace, and they looked, I don't remember who it was, but they looked at him and they're like, "What are you wearing that for?" He said, "Well, my name's David and I'm a star." like I got it all figured out. And the guy's like, "You're not Jewish?" He's like, "No, I'm David and I'm a star. What of it?"
That's right.
But the other one is he goes to spring training. A lot of people, spring training is what it is. It's just to go down there and get better and, get wake the snakes, they say. But he this was after he signed this big deal in Pittsburgh, and he goes down there and he didn't show up a few times, and they're like, you need to get out there and you need to knock the rust off. And he goes out there and hits a home run, goes back to the dugout. He comes up to bat the next time. He hits another home run. When he rounds third, he comes across home plate and he just goes right in the dugout, goes to the clubhouse and gets in his car and leaves. He said, "I'm good. I hit 2 home runs today. I don't think I need to be out here like you think I do." So, right. I mean, just little stories about guys doing that kind of stuff. And just, we always, you put these athletes, and rightfully so, some of them are just amazing to watch, but you realize that they put their pants on one leg at a time as well. And you just think, man, this guy doesn't, but some of these, stories are hilarious. I mean, what they do. I mean, it's just funny to me. I don't know. When
I could tell you stories about people, but I just can't do it on video. I mean, some of their routines was not like unbelievable routines. I mean, to me, you were born to hit. I mean, I mean, you when you have that hand, Will Clark's one of the best hitters I've ever seen.
He's awesome.
From Mississippi State, and he shot 75 shells in Mexico, bird hunting, right? Dove hunting. It's 69 birds. You know how hard that is? I mean, think about that. So that just tells you about his hand and eye coordination. That's not just shooting in front of him. That's like throwing it up to the side.
Right.
That just tells you that his hand and eye coordination was way better than mine. I might have hit 50 birds or 30 birds. He just popping them like it's nothing. Right. So I always thought I was a great athlete until I got in the major leagues, and I realized there were a whole lot better athletes than I was. So I had to work a little bit harder. You know what I'm saying?
So, and that's what a lot of these kids are these kids that are, in the transfer portal, for different sports. So they get to this place and they go, oh my gosh, I'm not back in high school where I was the man. Right. I am with other men.
Good. Yeah.
Yep. When they get there, they go, you mean there's other people like me? I mean, isn't that, I didn't know that. It's like they're thrown off or surprised at how that works. Like, where'd you get these other guys from? Where'd they come from? When you were in Pittsburgh, you got to play in Three Rivers. I've been there a few times. I went and watched 2 or 3 games. Love that stadium. But what was something that when you got to Pittsburgh, and I overemphasize Pittsburgh because I'm a big fan and I love the city. What is something that you still today can, like, if somebody's never been to Pittsburgh, what's something that you could tell them, like, hey, you need to go do this, or this is what we did, or this is my favorite thing about it?
Pittsburgh was, you think of a steel town, you think of all the things, but Pittsburgh really is a nice place.
It is.
The one thing that really I can remember, the Penguins, they won the championship that year. They come out on the field and do everything and do all their stuff. But the one thing I probably remember most is when Will Clark came to the Mets. He was coming out of with the Giants, come out of the Olympics, and I got to meet Michael Jordan. Came to see him because they became friends. And I'll never forget this. Michael Jordan said that, Will, our lives are fixing to change. And you see what happened. I mean, Will didn't do quite as much as Michael Jordan. But I got traded to the Pirates. And at that moment, I really didn't understand the business part of it. So I was like, what the hell? I'm Terry Mulholland's #1 prospect. I'm #2 in the Giants, and I'm traded? Come on. And so when I get to the Pirates, I get there almost right at game time.
Yeah.
Get my uniform on. I walk out, and Michael Jordan's throwing out the first pitch with a basketball. First pitch. And to that day, we've been friends, forever. Michael Jordan, we've been friends because I go to spring training. He would be down there at Sarasota, and he was in the White Sox back in when he was playing there, and golf games and just doing stuff. So that's probably one of the things I remember. But, the bridges and the rivers where they all meet, it's a really nice place.
Yeah.
And I got to play with a bunch of good guys. Barry Bonds, we never knew what he was going to do and what he's done. Van Slyke was probably the best player to me on that field.
Yeah.
It's the way he played the game. And, Bonilla was a great player, and I got to play with him earlier. But I think out of all of baseball, I played for Lou Piniella. I played for David Johnson. I played for Roger Craig with the Giants for just those 2 weeks. The coaching staff in Pittsburgh at that time was the best coaching staff I ever played for and learned from.
Gotcha.
I mean, they had a great group of guys.
Yeah. Yeah, Leland is definitely one of the. I mean, and he just made the Hall of Fame as well, so rightfully so. I mean, he well deserved. I mean, he's got a great career. Got all the accolades.
He was a player's manager. He was just a great player's manager.
He was, and like you said, when you needed to get jumped, he was there to do it, and he didn't hold any punches. And but did he ever say something to you or joke around with you a lot or something like a fun moment or memory that you remember of Jim Leland with the Pirates?
He joked with everybody because he walked through with down whitey tighties, just like Lou Piniella. They were old school whitey tighty guys. But he'd walk around with a cigarette and everything else in his mouth. Right through there with just nothing but underwear on. And he would just sit around and tell jokes and do whatever. I mean, he'd pat you on the ass when you did well, and he'd get in your ass when he needs you to do well, and you did.
Right.
So he's that kind of guy. But I mean, joking, he pretty much stayed with his coaches. Right. He would come in the office and say, "This is what I need out of it. This is what I need you to do." Right. And you need to get on a little bit. And so you knew where you stand at all times.
Right.
He said, there's very few coaches that tell you, "Hey, look, I'm behind you right here now. You need to get this done. This is what we need to do. I'm behind you 100%." Right. I talked to Jim Leland probably, it's been 5 years ago. I hadn't seen him since then. And maybe 5 years ago, his son was playing ball. And I'm going to lead you into your next little thing here. He called me because his son had a throwing problem. And he was in the minor leagues as a catcher. And so he called me to try to get him lined up with the people I worked with and do everything.
Right.
We talked about old times. We had a good time talking about it.
Before we kind of move on a little bit, I just had one thing because I've always heard Jim Leland, and maybe you can confirm this, but I was just curious. There's a story. I think Justin Verlander says this story. I think it's Verlander. Somebody on Detroit. I think it was a pitcher. Talks about how they were playing this game. They got their butts kicked, and he comes in the locker room and he's so mad. He goes. He's ripping the team a new one, and this other a lot. And there's another guy, and he's like, and Leland leaves, and he goes to get up, and he goes, whoa, stay right there. He ain't done. And he's like, what? He's like, what do you mean he's not done?
He comes back out and gets you again. That's right. That's true.
And another thing. And he said, I'm going to go in my office. I'm going to have a bourbon or scotch. I'm going to have a drink and a cigar. And when I come out, if any of you guys are left in here or still in here, I'm going to have you arrested for impersonating a baseball player.
He never said that one. I mean, if you ever pull up Walt Backman's stuff he does, Jim Lee was just like it.
Okay.
Just two peas in a pod right there.
Oh my gosh!
They just MF you. They just get in your ass. Yeah. But, when that was over, it was over and done with.
Yeah.
And that's where I learned that from. Because you can ask some of my players. I used to get in that ass in college. I would just wear them out. And I always say, man, once I'm done with this, and you understand where I'm coming from, it's over and done with, man.
Yep. You don't harp on it. There's no need to harp on it.
There's no.
Yep.
You know when you screwed up.
So you go to New York. You leave Pittsburgh. You go to New York. And respectfully, I ask you this: you're in the middle of the game, and all of a sudden, you for some reason you're having difficulty throwing the ball back to the pitcher. A routine thing that you've done 1,000, couple thousand, 100,000 times. I can't tell you how many times you actually did it, but I would rather ask you.
It started when I was with the Giants before I got traded. We're playing Calgary, Canada. Excuse me. We're playing Calgary, Canada. And it was like 30 degrees.
Yeah.
It was early in the season. It was like had little snowflakes coming down. I had a foul tip off my shoulder, and it hit me right on that pressure point right there in your shoulder.
Okay.
I should have come out of that game. But my manager said, can you get it done? Can you get it done? So I said, okay. So I started flipping the ball. Just like you see me flip the ball. I started flipping, because I couldn't throw. I mean, I should have came out of the game because it caused that damage in my shoulder. And
right.
Technology back then don't have the technology we have now. They'd have pulled me right out of the game then, because I could barely lift my arm. So I started flipping the ball. And after that, I sat the next day. And the next day, I was throwing fine, but memory got me. I couldn't throw the ball from behind the plate. Right. I could throw it in the outfield, but I couldn't throw it from behind the plate. I was in that mood of flipping it.
Right.
So it got kind of bad. And then Wendell Kim, which was my manager throughout the minor leagues in Phoenix, Nebraska, was coming to town. He says, listen, we need to straighten this shit out. I'm going to fine you $20 every time you flip it. And right there, it just magnified it even worse. And it got worse. He'd go 20, 40, and it really got bad. And so when I got called up to the Giants and they traded me, I went to the Pirates, and I had to go to Vancouver for a couple of weeks. And I kind of worked a lot of things out where I had that under control, the flip. And so when I got traded to the Mets, I went over, I had a baby, and I was late. And Davey Johnson says, where you been? I said, my wife just had a baby. She had labor almost 25 hours. And so he goes, you're playing this day. And so I go down to play against Baltimore. I played 4 innings. I throw out Cal Ripken Jr. I successfully have a hit and run. And he asked me, why do I flip the ball? I said, well, it's just a habit I've had forever, but I can still throw people out. I didn't explain it to him what happened. He said, okay, fine. You made my team. So in 1990, I had worked it out. I was throwing everybody out, Vince Coleman, nobody on the Mets throwing them out in like 60 tries. Right. And when I go the game before the All-Star break in 1990, I was hitting 371, having a great year. And Jim Presley ran me over. And my ankles were up under me. He flipped me. He hit me down and then push. And when he did, he messed my ankle all up. Well, they wouldn't put me on the disabled list because I was so hot. They said, we're going to bring up Todd Hundley and just let you sit until we can get you back in. And so when they got me back in, they taped my ankle so thick. It was like a cast. You know how you rock down to throw on your knees from a catcher spot? I couldn't do that at all. So I stayed up. And when I did, I got into just such a bad habit I could never get out of it. It's 1, 2, 3 pump. It's like my fingers will not let go of that baseball. Okay. It's the craziest thing you ever seen in your life.
Yeah.
And it was so embarrassing for me because the athlete I was, and then it became a problem for the pitchers because I was doing it. They didn't want me to be out there. They wanted my bat out there, but they didn't want the catching part, if that makes sense. Right. It took away from the game from them. And I get it, because that's who I am, but it hurt my career very much. It really did. I never got out of it.
And it's just
a mental block.
That's what I was going to say. It's all psychological. It's your mental. Yeah. Pt2 Realty is a homegrown business with an eye for getting the job done right. From football games to Sunday school and everything in between, these ladies care about our community and the people in it. Helping buyers and sellers in all of Florida with all types of transactions, including residential, commercial, farm, or vacant land. They do it all. They even offer auction services and sellouts to always get the job done right. Promotional consideration paid for by the following. Travelin' Tom's Coffee Truck, the delicious mobile coffee truck that brings you the caffeination inspiration you need. We deliver signature coffee products like our Nitro Cold Brew and Caramel Frappe to any occasion or festivity. And for those who don't like coffee, we offer a variety of delicious hot chocolates, energy drinks, lemonades, and teas. That's Travelin' Tom's Coffee Truck. Whether your water is supplied by a public municipality or a private well, for residential or commercial use, Purified Water Services LLC has the solutions to provide you with simply clean water. We offer a complete line of professional water filtration equipment and accessories. Soft water makes a difference you can see and feel. Water heater and appliances last longer with less maintenance. Iron and H2S filters eliminate iron stains and offensive rotten egg odors and protects your water softener equipment from iron fouling. No matter what your problem is, Purified Water Services LLC has a solution. Contact Kenny Williams at 352-446-2709. Promotional consideration paid for by the following. Webster Ace Hardware and Farm Supply are generous sponsors for today's podcast. They have been a family-owned business for 27 years. This helpful hardware store sells items such as archery, Ariat clothing and boots, Wrangler jeans, case knives, Hammond's candies, and live fishing gear. They also have a full selection of hardware, RV supply, propane, Ben Moore, Royal & Clark, and Kingston paints. You need a barn or fencing job done? Custom barn kits and roofing metal are provided at your local Ace Hardware store. What about a new grill for the yard? Traeger, Big Green Egg, Weber, and Blackstone are found here, along with all the accessories to go with them. Stock up your workshop with DeWalt, Milwaukee, or Craftsman tools. They got you covered. Remember to go to ace.com to shop their entire line to have items shipped directly to the store. Pat's Taps at Catfish Johnny's. Pat's Taps is Lake Pennsauken's newest tap room, offering 14 rotating craft beers on tap. We also offer bottled domestic beers, seltzers, ciders, and wine, as well as a variety of appetizers and puff. Our family-friendly tap room is a great place to come hang out and enjoy some one-of-a-kind craft beer. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, or the Untapped app. Steve Blass, another pirate, was the same way. He couldn't throw a strike to save his life. And it's just one of those things where, you know, you have this thing dialed in, and like I said, and you know, it's something that you just take for granted, just throwing a ball back. You know what I mean? And all of a sudden you can't do it. It's like when people hurt their hand and they go, I never realized how important your hand is until you can't use it anymore. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I've always heard the story, and it's a very interesting story about that game. I didn't know if it was a specific game or if it was actually something that progressed. So that's why I wanted to ask you, because
while I was playing, I could hit. I mean, I'm not bragging on myself. I could hit, and my outs were hard. I hit the ball hard. I tried to concentrate on hitting the whole ball. So I hit line drives to the home runs. But I bet I had 30 to 40 doctors trying to fix me. Mm-hmm. Psychologists, priests trying to put me under sleep, and none of them could ever fix me. And in 2000, let's see, when was it? 2004, 2005, a friend of mine from Major League Baseball called me and says, Mac, I want you to go up here and work with these people and talk to them about your situation. And so I did. And I found out those guys never worried about fixing my problem. They needed to they fixed me. Yeah. If that makes sense. They were working on me instead of the problem, where all them other guys were working on the problem instead of trying to fix me.
Right.
And there was a lot of brain spotting, doing stuff. And like they said, a lot of the things that happen to guys that happen this way, it's a part of your brain, which is trauma. You have a part of your brain, when it gets overloaded, it can't take no more trauma. And that's pretty much what happened to me. So they just rewinded me all the way back from my childhood. I mean, I was pure crying going through stuff, man. And, I could throw batting practice. I could do all kind of things. And I wish I'd have met those guys when I played. They might have, because they were more interested in Mackey Sasser than the pinpointing the arm why I couldn't do things, if that makes sense.
Yep.
But I'm in all their books and done all kind of shows with them and everything else. So
do you remember that maybe I can add the clip to it, but do you remember the game that they're talking about where you just, like they say, you patted 3 times, and I don't remember who you're playing. And did this happen quite a bit?
Is that one you're talking about?
I think so. Well, it may have been, because I always thought it was just something that just happened. Like I never knew the real reason and I didn't know that it was a progressive thing that happened, like you said.
It got worse because it was one pump and it got
Right.
2 to 3. And then when you got 40,000 people in the stand going 1, 2, 3, oh, dude, I felt like I want to drink a case of beer or a bottle of moonshine before you walked on the field. I mean, it's like you had 2 elephants instead of 1 on your back. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It was bad.
Yeah.
But the thing about it, I had that my whole career. But you'll be surprised at the kids I've helped.
Yeah.
Throughout my college career coaching, that I've actually helped get better because we caught it early.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy. I mean, I to this day they still email me and want me to talk to their kids. It's just one of those things. More kids today. Mine was from injuries and trauma, and more kids today is from the parents getting on their ass and they're trying to impress them.
Yep.
I hate to say that, but
yeah.
I mean,
well, it's a different kind of trauma. You're talking about when you got all those injuries. Right, exactly. And so I think, there's a big difference nowadays because, I mean, I hate to sound like the old man, but, like back in my day, it was easier to do this, or it was better to do this. But when you go through something, I've talked about this on a podcast previously. Like, I didn't even realize that anxiety was real. Like, I never had a panic attack until I did one day. I had like a little, just a little panic attack. And I was like, oh my gosh, like you never know what somebody's really going through until you experience it yourself. And it's so true about everything. I mean, and it's a good thing that you're able to step in and you can help people that like, hey, look, I know exactly how you feel because I've been there. And I think that's what makes people, when they're going through a problem, they don't want to hear somebody that hasn't been there before. They want to hear somebody that's been through they've taken the same path. You know what I'm saying?
My best friend, he's passed away now, but he was my best friend from college on. I mean, we just hit it off with his parents, his dad. And I even took him to New York all the time with me. I mean, people loved him because he was that kind of guy.
Yeah.
And he called me one night after the game, and it's funny, but he called me. His dad knows how to fix your problem. I said, what you talking about? He goes, your throwing problem. He knows how to fix it. I said, what's that? He goes, well, there's 2 ways to do it. Either you can pay me to stand beside you and throw it back for you, or we can put the dog shock collar on you. I can sit in the dugout and mash it every time you get ready to throw it. That might have worked.
It sounds like he had a plan.
Huh?
Yeah. Sounds like he had it figured out.
Yeah. Well, he was trying to help me get better.
Yep.
It all worked out at the end. I did what I meant to do. I coached 25 years of college ball.
Yeah. And that's going back to what we said earlier about, that wasn't something that you probably thought that you would be doing. But then again, there you have it. You had all that experience from, you got to kind of see it from both sides, and that makes coaching a lot easier when you go, hey man, I played in the big leagues. I know, just like Cinto. I mean, kids respect him and they know he knows what he's doing. So they're like, okay, they take it a little more, it's like when growing up, when, someone's dad says, hey, you should do this. You're like, who is this guy? You always have that guy in the crowd, but then if you have somebody that's experienced or been there or, whatever, you take it upon yourself to kind of just go with that than you do with the guy harping 50 yards away, like swing faster or something,
That's right.
I don't know. So while you were in New York, give me some guys that you played with. You said Darryl Strawberry, and you played with Dwight Gooden.
Kevin Elster, and Dave Magnin were my best friends on the team. We hung out together. I played with Gary Carter, which was a hell of a catcher. Taught me a lot just from sitting and watching. And I played with Howard Johnson at third base, Kevin Elster at short. I had Tim Tuffle and Wally Backman at second, Keith Hernandez at first, Strawberry and right, Mookie Wilson and Lenny Dykstra in center, and Kemet Reynolds in left field. And, we had Dwight Gooden, Dwight Gooden, Sid Fernandez, Ronnie Darling, Dave Cone, and Bobby Ojeda as starting pitchers for all those years.
Yeah.
And then I played with Brett Saberhagen became in the pitch. Frank Viola came in the pitch for us while I was there. I played with a lot of guys. I mean, it was fun, man. We had a good time.
How was it living in New York? Was that a big adjustment?
I was a Southern boy.
Yeah.
And they liked the way I talk. When I said y'all, it was on. Where are you from? I'm from Alabama. I was like a foreigner.
Yeah.
In New York. I got away with a lot of things in New York.
Yeah.
So
I literally had that question in the back of my head. I'm like, I wonder, because, being from Florida, people say I have an accent. You never hear your own self talk. Yeah. But I used to work in Orlando a lot, and they're like, oh my gosh, where are you from? And I'm like, I'm from Florida. And they're like, no way. Like, are you from, Georgia or Tennessee? And I'm like, no, I promise you, I'm from Florida. But, I'm literally thinking a guy from Alabama had to have been asked several times, like myself, in New York, where are you from? Like,
I asked that all the time until they knew who I was.
Yeah.
New York was a nice place. I mean, everybody thinks about New York City when you talk about New York.
Yeah.
Which when I flew into New York City for the first time, I was like, holy cow, this place is huge. But then when you get out on Long Island or you go upstate New York, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
Upstate New York is a beautiful place. It really is. So, a lot of people just think about New York City, and it's amazing. Hey, yo, what happened? I was like, I don't know what the hell happened. I didn't play today. Come on, dude. Why are you asking me? But they had their accents, and I'd give it right back to them, and they loved it. They'd get on you when you did bad, and they'd love you when you did good. So and you had to learn. A lot of people couldn't play in New York. They could ride the hell out of it.
Yeah.
But you got to be able to have tough skin. You can't have thin skin up there. And that's why a lot of big stars go there and fail, because they can't handle it.
Yeah. But I think that shows true character about a fan base when, when when the fans hold the players accountable. Every fan base does it, but nobody truly does it like New York. Whether you're a Yankee, a Met, it doesn't matter. Giants, Jets, it don't matter. They're going to want to know, hey, like you said,
what the hell happened?
Yeah.
Mackey, what the hell happened? I do Mets fans, and I do 3 weeks of it. It's like the biggest Mets fans in the world to go do. And I'm friends with all of them, and I still go to games. But it's some of them are rough, man. The bettors are always the ones that are rough.
Oh yeah.
They're terrible.
Oh yeah. Well,
they give you hell.
I wear my Pirates hat a lot, and I live near the Villages, and that's a lot, the big retirement. So a lot of people from New York.
I was moving there at one time.
Oh, really? Yeah. Well, who hasn't, right? Yeah. The people are like daily moving in there. So like I'm at Publix the other day, I'm getting some stuff and I'm waiting on some guy to bring something to me. And this guy goes, oh my God, it's the only Pirates fan in Florida. I'm like, yeah, probably. Yeah. Unless you go to Bradenton, then there's a few, but yeah. Right. But I thought I just laughed because I said, yeah. And one day when they win it, I don't know when that will be. Maybe I'll be alive when it happens. But if they do win it, I can honestly say I was there the whole time. I was there.
I still do a bunch of stuff with Mazeroski. I come out to golf tournament all the time. His son coached at Gulf Coast for years.
Really? I didn't know that.
Me and Darren, his wife, and my wife are good friends. But, he lost his wife. Bill lost his wife last year, and but he's doing good. I think he's going to have his tournament again this June, so I'll go back up to Seven Springs up in Pennsylvania to do his golf tournament.
Well, you know what's funny? I got a funny story about Bill. I've never met him. I would love to meet him, but I've never met him. But during COVID, I collect a lot of sports memorabilia stuff, and of course, I collect a lot of Pirates baseballs and stuff. And Bill's a legend in Pittsburgh, so I mean, he can. So I'm like, you know what? I don't. Yeah, he's got. I mean, they got a statue of him, for crying out loud. So that's how you know you made it, when you got a statue. But they did these signings where you send these baseballs in, and the guy would sit down. They'd be in like a hotel room or wherever they were going to meet them, and they would sign, and you pay so much. And so I did a few of those, and one was for Bill Mazeroski, and I have a baseball signed by him. It says he signed it, and then he put 1960 Yankee Killer.
Yes.
And so I have that in my case, and I was like, man, that's something that like a lot of people don't realize the history. That's one of the things I love about Pittsburgh is the rich history. And but I have that ball, and that will never be for sale. I'll keep that till I'm gone. But
I got to do it for real myself.
So such a cool guy. I've gotten to see him from afar, but let me tell you, you think people protecting the president? Yeah. When you go to a spring training game in Mazeroski's area, they have him on a golf cart, and you can't even like wave to him. There's people in the golf cart like like bodyguarding him, which he's a Pittsburgh treasure. But I don't know. Another baseball I've got that's kind of cool. He's not a Pirate, but it was Jerry Remy.
Yes.
So he just passed away not too long ago. Before he this is again during COVID, but there's a clip on it's an old clip. It's on YouTube, and I'll have to send it to you. But they're playing. It's the Red Sox because he was the announcer. It's Red Sox. I think it's I want to say the Angels or somebody, and they're in Boston, and there's a foul ball. And the ball comes over, and the guy on the opposing team goes to catch it and knocks the ball out of – or no, I'm sorry. It was I think it was a Boston guy. Knocks the ball out of his hands. Anyways, long story short, all of a sudden the ball is out of the guy's hand, and there's somebody throws a slice of pizza. Wow. So and they didn't really see it at first, and then they went to a commercial break. They had the third out. They go to the commercial break. When they come back, Jerry's like, we did some investigative reporting, and we just found out that there was an incident down there on the left field line, and they're doing he's like, I don't have my teleprompter, but here comes the pizza. Like, it's in slow-mo. The pizza slapping this guy on the back. Right. So I have a baseball signed by Jerry Remy that says, here comes the pizza. Oh, that's cool. So it's one of my other things that I have in my big case over there full of baseballs. But just little things like that I think are hilarious. I mean, like, things that are kind of like not inside jokes, but you know what I mean, like the 1960 Yankee Killer. It's part of sports history, man. That was a game 7 winner in Pittsburgh, 1960 World Series. I mean, it was just a good thing. But New York was great. Was the Mets one of your favorite places to play, or did you? Yeah, out of all the places,
they treated me very well there. They still do. So,
Yep. And you said you went to Seattle.
I went to Seattle for 2 years.
2 years, okay.
And then I come back to the Pirates and finished up in '95.
So, and the difference between the 1990 early 90 Pirates and the 95 Pirates are
totally. It was totally different.
So you know Greg Brown, right?
Yes.
Okay, so I had him on the show. All right. And he told me, he said, he just came from Buffalo. Buffalo, he was there for the 4 straight Super Bowls.
Right.
They lost. He was the radio announcer, the play-by-play guy. And then he said he came to Pittsburgh, and I forgot who it was, introduced him as like he was in Buffalo for 4 straight Super Bowl losses. Now he's in Pittsburgh, and that was like his introduction. He was joking, but everybody in Pittsburgh was like, "What?" Like they were like, "Who is this guy? What are we getting here?" This guy just was a part of the 4 losing Super Bowls. So it's a funny story. He's a good guy, great guy. I got to meet him. He's a really cool guy.
All right.
So what are your plans now? I mean, you said retirement. You're gonna just take it easy, or you still coach at all, or
No, I don't do any coaching. I just kind of hang out with my family and do things.
Yeah.
Right now I'm trying to take care of my in-laws and
Yep.
and just visit people. Baseball takes a lot out of your life. A lot of things you don't get to do. You're always traveling, playing all these years, and coaching. You're still gone in the spring half the time. You miss baseball games or your kids and everything else. So I'm trying to spend time with all of them and do what I need.
So you mentioned
play golf.
Yeah. Okay. So are you a pretty good golfer?
I'm pretty decent golfer.
Yeah, pretty good. Okay. I'm not a you're a what?
Probably about an 8.
Okay. Yeah, that's bad. 8. So pretty much what I shoot per hole. So circle 8.
If my driver's not working, I can do that too. He is a driver.
Yeah, I go just to drive the golf cart most of the time. Not gonna lie.
There ain't nothing wrong with it.
No. I can map the course pretty good when I go. What kind of hunting do you do? Do it all?
I just pretty much do deer hunting. That's really all I do. My kids like to do everything else. I just, I've had both my hips replaced and surgeries. I don't like to get out and walk and do a whole lot of stuff that way. I like to walk to my stand, get in it, and sit. So,
Is it hard? Is it hard for you to get in the stand?
Too. The hogs come out, I have to kill them.
Oh yeah, you have to. Yeah, they're all over the place.
Yes, they are.
Is it hard for you to get up in the tree stand?
Not really. I mean, the hardest part of me is walking before daylight, because I won't use a light, because I don't want to spook them, because I'm using right around. And uneven roads will get me. So I'm very careful that way, but I can get up in the stands. I'm still able to do all that stuff. Thank God.
Yeah. Do you ever do any fishing?
I fish all the time. I live right here I live on a lagoon.
Yeah. What kind of fish you got on there?
Redfish. I do a lot of inshore. Red snapper, grouper, amberjack, dolphin, whatever.
What's your favorite?
I like inshore. I like redfish.
Redfish? Yeah, me too.
Great fight with light line and get on.
I call them the torpedoes.
That's right.
Because when they take that shrimp,
it's gone.
Oh man, they literally looks like, and it's like right. you're like, oh boy, here we go.
Exactly. I mean, it's fun, man. I mean, I enjoy it.
Yeah. We try to go every once in a while. I haven't been as much as I want to, but the good thing about being, obviously, about being in Florida is you can do freshwater and the saltwater. So that's that you got different types, you got different, places you can go, and it's not just the same old place where you're hoping to get something.
Right. Well, I catch a lot of redfish too. I can go 2 miles out right offshore.
Yep.
Pop up 2 miles out. Same as they go out 50 miles.
Right. So where I live is about an hour, well, maybe less than an hour from Crystal River. Right. So and that's where we like to go out. There's, redfish galore out there. A lot of them, we found a lot of them near the old nuclear plant out there that they had. And so it's a good time. I get to do that every once in a while, but hunting is just something I've never really gotten into. But I would, like I said earlier, I would love to start doing that.
This month is when it's really happening. It's called rutting.
Right.
The does get hot and the bucks go crazy.
Right.
Just like a male and a female here.
Yeah, it's like a college town for deer.
Right, exactly. For about 2 weeks.
Spring break. Yeah,
2 weeks.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, have you ever been turkey hunting?
I've been a few times with my son.
Did you like doing that?
It was okay.
Yeah.
I had to do a lot of walking, trying to get around them and do stuff.
Yeah. Because they move. They like to move.
That's right.
I've been once. I've shot 2 turkeys, and that was good. I'm done. I'm going to go again this year, but I always say that I'm like, I got my 2 turkeys. I'm good.
I know. I get
a lot of people go a long time without seeing one or getting one. So
yeah, that's true.
First time, not too bad.
That's true.
Well, listen, hey, Mackey, I appreciate your time today. I wish you the best in 2025. I know great things are going to happen, and keep doing what you're doing. And like I said, I appreciate your time today. If you ever get a chance to come down this way, hit me up, and I'll take you out. Maybe we can go red fishing or something.
Okay, sounds great, man. Thank you very much.
All right. Well, hey guys, that was Mackey Sasser, former catcher in the Major League system. Guys, I appreciate your time. Thanks for joining us. I want to thank our sponsors. Without their help and their support, this is not possible. So once again, I appreciate it. And until next time, we'll see you then. Have a good one.